What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Chats with the Freak. I know it's been a while since I've done a Freak stream. I don't remember. I was actually talking to my assistant Eve earlier. I don't remember the last time I did a live stream. I've done podcasts, but I haven't done a live stream in a while. So I'm super stoked. This is my end of the year roundup edition that I have done for the last couple years. It's my favorite thing to do, and I'm so happy to bring you all in for this. So I'm also very stoked we have Co-op and Kore Rozzik on with me tonight. Chad Nicefield was supposed to come on, but he had some other obligations he had to tend to at the last minute. I will say I was very impressed. His list did include a Brockhampton record, which was pretty interesting because I didn't know that they even came out with a record this year. So I will have Chad on in January or February, so please stay tuned for that. But let's bring the other guys in and get this show rolling. Hey, there we go. The gang's all here.
Yo.
The gang's all here. Okay, cool. This is like some weird version of the Brady Bunch right now, but it's fine. If you guys have been paying attention, I've had all of these men on the podcast at some point. Mr. Kore Rozzik, whatever. Like I said, weird version of the Brady Bunch. And Co-op down below. How you guys doing, man?
What's up? Trying to keep warm.
You guys are out in the desert, it looks like, right?
Yeah, in the frozen tundra of Phoenix.
Is it pretty cold out there this time of year, or?
For us, yeah.
For us, it is.
It's like 65 right now.
48 at night.
Oof. It's like 25 right now, and I'm definitely shivering with that.
We still have some daylight.
Oh, I couldn't imagine being out in a desert like that. That just sounds like to go from the heat like climates. That seems crazy to me.
It's been pretty good.
It's a dry heat.
We've finally been getting some rain.
We've been getting a lot of rain, so that's been helping a lot.
I feel like the dry heat would be terrible for anybody's sinuses or allergies, for that matter. I know dry heat in general is usually bad for me.
There's no need for a hairdryer.
That is the only good thing about the desert, man. At least your hair doesn't frizz up as much.
Yeah, just roll your window down, stick your head out.
That seems like a good message to me. Saves a lot of heat damage for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. So thank you all for coming on and doing this with me. I'm super stoked. This is the third annual end of the year live stream with Chats with the Freak. So I'm super stoked to be bringing in 2022 with another live stream. Kore was on last year, as some of you may know. This is Co-op's first time, so welcome, gentlemen.
We're newbies.
Newbies, I'm very excited to have you guys on. Like I said, Chad was going to come on. He was super stoked, but last minute obligations kind of stopped that from happening. But I'm super stoked to have the crew that we have, and I guess let's get into it. So what I did last year was we kind of went down everybody's lists for your top 5 album picks and kind of discussed different honorable mentions and stuff like that. So I guess I'm going to start out with some honorable mentions for releases that came out this year in the music world. I didn't want to include EPs in my top 5 albums because I felt like if I was including EPs, I was never going to decide on a 5. So I really enjoyed Crobot's EP, Rat Child. It had some really cool special guests on it. 4 songs, but it was really smack you in the face kind of shit. It was so well put together and well produced, and I really enjoyed it. And my other honorable mention is the new Darkness record. One of my friends introduced me to the Darkness last year, and I've been listening to this record, but it came out in November, and I feel like I need to sit with it a little longer before I decide if I really liked it or not. So I definitely really like Sticky Situations off that record, but I haven't really had any other songs off that really like smacked me in the face in a good way.
Ouch.
What was that for?
It's funny because when when you sent the idea to me about, let's talk about end of year and albums, and I sat there and I thought, and I'm like, well, man, we've been pretty much in the studio so much doing our own stuff. Like, I don't listen to other music when we're
Right.
writing. I'm going, I was cramming for a test. It's like my SATs, or my Scantron, my number 2. But yeah, I think collectively as a band, we thought the Mammoth album just broke barriers back
So good.
to real just rock, rock. That was a highlight of my. I couldn't get enough of that album. Obviously, the Detroit stories.
It's a selfish plug here.
Yeah.
It's
Pretty good. Gotta honor the old man. For sure, it was a great album.
I did see Gojira put out a new album, and I recently just started getting into them. They fascinate me.
Yeah.
They're it's like if you were painting by music.
Yeah, Gojira is definitely interesting. Did they come out with a new record this year?
I believe so.
They were on tour.
When I was going through the list trying to cram some stuff in, I had seen it on the list, but I never got a chance to Spotify it or get onto it. I believe they did, though. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I feel like they probably did because I know they did a tour in the fall, but that album must have gone over my head.
Yeah, I think that's the funny thing, especially between just COVID life and then being a musician. We're just like double tuned out to what the hell is going on. It's just like I'm just like, it is because like for me, it's like I'm having a hard time like being passionate, and I hate to say this because we're doing a top 5 here, but it's been really hard to be really passionate and excited about new music other than trying to record my own and get back on the tour. Like that's been kind of like what I'm trying to do. So a lot of music was off my radar, and I think I would probably have more honorable mentions than anything because like there was just so many records I didn't realize came out, or like Emmy said, a lot of records just came out like last month. So it's like if you haven't sat with it that long, it's kind of hard to put that in the top 5. So,
another interesting thing, which Emmy said, was EP, and they're becoming more, common than actual albums now because I don't know whether it's release a song, it's got a month, and then get something else out because the attention span, maybe. I don't know. I mean, for me, it takes me at least 2 or 3 times to really get into something.
There's such a higher demand for consistent content nowadays.
Right.
It's like you can put out one album a year every 2 years, or you can put out a 5-song EP every 4 months and keep that content going.
So
That's why I like Bullet for My Valentine just released their newer album. Their last album, Gravity, was very off the wall and kind of an experimental kind of thing. It was a little different, which is kind of what they do. Every other album is kind of cool, kind of different. But this one was kind of back to their roots. That really
more angry.
But they released like 5 songs like every 2 weeks or every week off that album, and I think there was like 10 songs. So it was kind of like a short release EP, and then they kind of released the other 5 songs together. So that's kind of the way it's going right now.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of ADD, but I think also too for some bands like us, it's like it's definitely more economical, to put out a single here, a single there,
Absolutely.
do a video, do a quick radio campaign, whatever it might be, depending on how much money we got from the label or whatever, So again, talk about honorable mentions. We both put out singles this year. I just put out a single a few weeks ago. Just to say that I put out something this year because we hadn't put out a record in so long. We were like, we got to put out something.
That stuff that we're kind of holding on to, just like, well, I can release this next year and then be in the clear.
That's kind of the thing. Like when the whole COVID thing hit, and we were like, well, everybody board up your houses, lock up your kids, this and that. Like, so we didn't see each other for a long time, and then when everything kind of opened back up here, especially Arizona, it happened rather quickly. We were just like, well, what do we do?
Yeah.
We were like,
we're like, oh, wait a minute, we got to go on tour, we got to write an album, let's go. which now ended up turning into 2 EPs, as we were talking about EPs.
Yeah.
And what Jeremy said, it's like you got to keep spoon feeding them more. Like don't stop, because once you stop, you lose momentum.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely with Spotify and the other streaming outlets, it's definitely become more of a singles game now than anything else, which has been promoting the use of EPs and stuff like that.
Which has been going on a long time in hip hop. That's the way they mixed it, all this and all that. It's release whatever.
Yeah, I think it's good and bad. I mean, obviously being big influence by Alice Cooper, obviously. I'm a big fan of concept records. I love records that tell a long story, but I keep being told by the industry, don't do concept records. Nobody cares. No one has attention span for it. Just do one song, So, and again, that's why we put out the single now too, because we're kind of like, it's been so long since we put out music. Better to put out one song and milk it for a while. And I had kind of reservations about putting out music in the height of the pandemic, because I figured, yeah, people are home, they want something to listen to, but at least for me personally, I was just so tuned out from what was going on currently. I just wanted to listen to classic records, that I grew up with and stuff. I wasn't as I almost felt like the 2020 didn't even matter, it didn't count. And I think a lot of good music did come out during that time that went totally under the radar because people were just tuned out. So I think I was justified for it, but at the same time, it kind of sucked. We went a good 2 years when we probably should have if the pandemic hadn't happened, we probably would have put out a record in 2020, but it just threw everything off.
And a full length.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but speaking of EPs, the Smile Empty Soul, Black Pill is a great EP.
You got to hear that every night for about.
Yeah, we got to hear most of that.
It never got boring. It was so good.
We did 25 nights of that in a row, and it was great. Especially just the two guys in the band, Sean and Ty. Ty's an animal. Good God. So every night it's just two guys making that much noise is insane.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that EP was really awesome to us. Was it a full length?
Yeah,
Sheep was the EP. Black Pill was the full length.
I think they may have only been playing a few songs on tour from it, and it hadn't been released yet while we were out. But yeah, we had heard the whole thing. Sure.
Yeah,
it's like.
That's pretty cool, though. I find that EPs are either hit or miss, though. Sometimes I feel like sometimes artists put out EPs, and like you guys said, it's like, oh my god, this is fucking great. And then other times it's like, wait, what? No, what is this? This is just like a bunch of demos or like a mixtape.
Sometimes it's like you wanna make an artistic statement, but you're like gun shy, so you throw out like a 3-song just to test the waters. Right. Like, all right, now let's go back to what we were doing.
Yeah, like I'm so old school that I've probably passed up on a lot of good music, because sometimes you just see like an EP and you just go, oh, it doesn't really count. It's just kind of like a bonus or a holdover, But nowadays it's kind of becoming more the norm, and I'm still having a hard time adapting to it. But I'm embracing the singles aspect because, like I said, you can really milk it. You could promote that single for a couple of months before you get the next one out. So, especially since things are about to be so content based now with the damn social media, so it's just funny to see how things are going.
You were talking about radio campaigns, and it's good to kind of throw one out there before you start planning on touring. Now you can go. Yes. Now where you're getting hits, and then that's where you kind of concentrate the core of your tour. No pun intended.
Yep. Well, and that's kind of where I'm at right now in management. We're just kind of like, well, if we can actually get you charting on the radio and on XM, then you might get more phone calls for the tours that you're looking for. Then they might actually care. It's like once you're on the radio, then they care. So
yeah.
So the singles help with that stuff.
Touring right now that's kind of why we opted out of the end of the year tours, because when we went on in that last one where we saw you guys in Columbus.
Yep.
It was a good tour overall. Like, it was worth going. Like, you have those tours where you completely just lose your ass.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was, in all aspects, like we made a lot of contacts. We sold a good amount of merch. We got some new fans. But not every show was that banger that you're looking for, and it doesn't have to be. But and then we had a few canceled because of COVID restrictions or reasons or all that. So as a business, you have to start thinking as a business, like, is it right now the right time to kind of get out there, or do we kind of hold up at home, maybe do some local cover gigs, make some money, and let's record a bunch of songs.
Yep.
And then you can start spoon feeding.
Right.
So
get it in the can.
That's kind of where we're at right now. Like, we definitely want to tour next year. It's just where I want to see where everything goes with the whole situation across the country, the world, or whatever, But,
yeah. We got like one weekend we're building in March, and other than that, we're kind of hoping something big comes in like around May. That I don't know why the universe is telling me like May. That's like the time to go out and do something, and hopefully by then we'll have all this stuff figured out.
That makes sense. And it's crazy because I'm already seeing tours for February, March. It's like, okay, so by the end of January, we got to be like, are we going out in May or June? Because now we got to start putting the feelers out there.
Right.
No, start making moves now so we know what we're doing then, or before it's all booked. You never know.
Right.
So.
Hey, are we still in honorable mentions?
Yes, we are still in honorable mentions. I have not started the countdown yet.
All right. So I'm gonna throw out my two honorable mentions. If anybody knows the Swedish band Lordi, they're kind of like the European Gwar. Love those guys. They just came out with I don't even know the ultimate title, so I'm not gonna butcher it, but they're psychotic. They basically just came out with like 7 records at like the same time. And there's one called Super Fly Trap, and it's actually a disco record, and it's brilliant. I mean, it just shows what good musicians they are, and it's just very amusing. It kind of sounds like ABBA meets like Kiss Dynasty meets like Alice Cooper Dada. It's like all that like mixed together, and it's just funny because it's like disco music, but it's like Lordi singing it, so it's like. It doesn't just rock, it's also like just amusing. So I found that record really, really, really amusing. Another honorable mention, didn't think I would bring it up, but I really enjoyed the new Limp Bizkit record. Limp Bizkit still sucks.
Yes.
I don't know, man. Like it's a short record, it's short and sweet.
Yeah. They put that front loaded. They put that song out as
Bad vibes.
And I expected at least 6-7 songs like that, and then
there's like 3 songs in, and then you're like, wait, what?
But I was
pleasantly disappointed. Is that a thing? I don't know.
You know what it is? I was just pleasantly surprised because at this point in the game, I didn't really expect anything from Limp Bizkit. Their last record eons ago wasn't that great. But this one, it felt, even though it was so 90s, it felt fresh. There was like Cypress Hill vibes and Beastie Boy vibes and even almost like Kurt Cobain, Nirvana vibes on some of the songs. But they sounded like they were having a good time with it. I actually thought it was. I mean, it's not my top 5, but I actually really enjoyed it. I was never a big Bizkit fan back in the day, but for some reason it came on my radar and I was curious, and I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was so excited I was like, Wes is back and they're gonna be doing this. Like, you hear that first song, and I mean, it's not bad. It's just I was shocked. You're shocked in a. That's all right.
What was that one song about dad vibes or some shit?
Yeah, dad vibes. Yeah. Can't live with him, can't live without him. Yeah, la di da. It's
all the girls with daddy issues. I'm like,
you know what it is though. Oh no! I just dropped my top 5. Anyway, my Panda dropped my records. You know what it is though. The production on it is kind of. It sounds very home studio like. It doesn't have that like big nookie kind of production.
Yeah,
how like you're not like a nookie when the chorus hits. It's like there's that big bass rumble type of production. It doesn't really have that production, but no, I still liked it, and they're a polarized band. I mean, people are gonna always have their opinion on them.
For sure. So are you gentlemen ready to start the top 5, even though Corey feels like he was studying for the SATs?
Yo, I actually lost a vinyl.
You're
someone
right
else
over
go
there,
first. I'm good, player. Hold on. Okay.
I also don't know why my video keeps randomly cutting out for no reason, so I'm sorry. That's annoying. Okay, well, I guess while he's finding his vinyl, getting his life together, I'm going to start out with my top 5. And I'm going to start out with number 5. I will preface this. I have 2 pop albums in my top 5, which I think some people are going to be surprised about. But this album, I don't feel like anybody's going to be surprised. It's in my top 5, but I think they're going to be surprised that it's so low. Halsey's record, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. The album is produced by Trent Reznor, and when that got released, I was like, holy shit, this album's gonna change my life. And I don't know, I had to sit with it for a while. The record came out in August, and I really thoroughly enjoyed The Lighthouse, which is a kind of B-side track on it. That song smacked me in the face when I first heard it. I was like, whoa, this is fucking dope. But the rest of it, I don't know, I guess I expected it to be a little bit heavier than it was. It's very more closer 9 Inch Nails, not the angriness I was expecting. But the longer I sat with it, the more I became to appreciate it. Girl is a Gun is a good song. I don't really like any of the singles that she put out. Belle and Santa Fe, I didn't really like that song too much. It was too airy, I guess, in a weird way. But I thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end once I kind of sat with it for a little while. It came after her Manic album in 2020, which came out right before the pandemic. And that album, I fucking love that album. That's probably my favorite Halsey record. So I guess maybe going into this record, I had too high of expectations for it, for how I was going to feel with it. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it now, and I really do like it, and hopefully Halsey stays on the rock kind of vibe for a little bit longer for another record.
You should always lower your expectations. You'll never be disappointed. Take it from a musician.
I'm just gonna sip on my water for that.
All right, who's next?
Go ahead, Corey. I think as a band we collectively gave our 5.
Yeah. The Dirty Honey album.
Oh, yeah. Dirty Honey.
Yeah. That was they put out an EP first and then full length.
It's funny because, again, listening to me, I don't. Well, my day job is in music too, so it's I listen to some. I don't know. Can you be tired? No, you can't be tired of music. But sometimes I don't turn music on in my car.
Interesting.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts.
It's anything new. I'm same way with movies. Anything after 2005, I'm not gonna watch it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch Ghostbusters 9 million times, but I won't give anything new a shot.
No, it's true. Once everything went after the American Pie era, after everything went PC, it wasn't cool to watch anything anymore,
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
all I hear is Whitby and Hogbar, so no more rock and roll.
No more rock and roll.
All right, so no, this is my record, but that came out a long time ago. Okay, so
that did not come out this year.
Yeah, my favorite record didn't come out. Okay, anyway. My number 5 is going to be Black Veil Brides with The Phantom Tomorrow. And, Black Veil Brides are kind of like the Power Rangers. Nobody admits that they listen to them,
They're good. They're just good. They're really good.
Yeah. You know what I mean? When you were I remember I was in 5th grade and it was cool to watch Power Rangers, but then by 6th grade you couldn't tell anybody you were watching Power Rangers.
Well, it's the same thing with collecting Pokemon cards. You wish you still had them because they're worth millions of money nowadays.
Yeah. So I wish I could look good without a beard like Andy, but it's a good record. Scarlet Cross kicks it off really well.
That was a cool song.
Yeah, they bring it down in the verses, and Andy's voice is very much up front in the production, which, Andy doesn't have the most range, but he really makes the most of his voice. He's got that real baritone voice. I love Scarlet Cross. Torch is a great one. And Crimson Skies. I would say those are the three. And Crimson Skies is super thrashy. I mean, that's the thing about Black Veil Brides. I think they get a lot of crap for being like, emo-ish or like Pretty Boys or whatever. But I mean, musically, they're right up there with the modern metal of like Avenged. I think a lot of these bands took a lot of what Avenged Sevenfold did and kind of built on that and probably added in a little bit more of a punk rock edge to the choruses, especially because every big Black Veil Bride song has the whoa-woes in it. That's kind of what they have to do in all their records. But there's a lot of solid, you can't deny them, man. Every record, solid metal riffs, really impressive solos. The guys can play. They're really, I mean, people hate on them, but I think this is a solid record. Again, it's only my number 5, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and they sounded great live too. We got to see them with In This Moment because some of our friends were on their crew that tour, and that was great. And hey, you can't go wrong with red vinyl. Gotta love that. So
definitely jealous of their drums on Black Veil Brides. They have a really heavy sound.
Yeah, no,
I mean, did you hear the what was that? What was that album? Remember they remastered it and released it?
Oh, I forgot the name, but it's their first record. They like re-recorded it.
Something, restitch these wounds or something.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, the reproduction on that was like, holy crap! It was like day and night difference. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely went more of a polished metal approach. Yeah, Perfect Weapon and Knives and Pens and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, killer stuff.
Black Veil Bride's definitely a solid band. I do like that record. I guess I should have thrown that in my honorable mentions because I thoroughly enjoyed that. But yeah, Crimson Skies is like another banger that like just smacks you in the face like the second you hear it. It's like, whoa.
Well, that's what I mean. There's a couple of tracks on here I'm not too crazy about, but the ones that slam really slam. So that's why I put it in my top 5.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go next since they've talked about the Dirty Honey record. Number 4 for me is Hellbound by Buckcherry. I think this album contained everything a Buckcherry album should contain. Some really cool, groovy songs, and then Gun is like the song that you can shake your ass to in the club, which I think every Buckcherry album needs that song. Gun, I don't think was a single off that record, but I fucking love that song so much. I shot them back in July up here at the Sherman Theater in Stroudsburg, and they're awesome dudes. I love Stevie to death, and this album is such a fucking solid listen. The video for So Hot, So funny, because I feel like it's poking kind of fun at social media and we like kind of glorify it or whatever, or go seeking for certain shit on social media, which I've talked about in previous episodes of the podcast, so I'm not going to harp on that too much. But I thoroughly enjoyed the video for So Hot, and I really like that song. That was the lead off single. And yeah, like I said, Gun is such a good fucking jam. Like, it's like, you gotta just fucking like shake your ass to it and like be vibing. I love that song so much. So yeah, number 4, Hellbound by Buckcherry.
You guys got anything for number 4?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go right to our number 1. It was really the only album that I kept listening to through and through and through. I felt rejuvenated. I had for such a horrible time it had been throughout the last year. It really like gave me hope about actual rock music. There are many, many subgenres of rock now, and of any genre, actually. But when you're getting back to the roots of rock and all that, I felt that that Mammoth WVH album was just groundbreaking, and it deserves awards and all that good stuff. And very well written, well produced, well recorded. Just it was a revival for me. It gave me actually more of an adrenaline boost to keep going, you know, because how many times in a career you're sitting there going, man, should I keep going? Like, should I keep doing it? Like, I'm getting my ass kicked all over the place. Should I go to a 9 to 5, you know? But that album really just said, okay, no, it's not time yet, you know. It's like, when is LeBron gonna retire? When he's ready to, you know, or Brady or whoever, you know. So for me, Mammoth, WVH, the whole through and through, from start to finish, there's no skipping tracks. It's just good rock.
That's a pretty solid album. I did remember listening to it, but now I'm going to have to go back and re-listen to it, because I do remember listening to part of it and thoroughly enjoying what I heard from it.
Yeah, it had some grooves in a weird way. I don't want to say Seven Dust, because that's kind of like inflating it, but it had some of these like riffs that were kind of groovy. I give him credit for kind of wanting to do his own type of, you know, like hard rock and not try to sound like Eddie or something like that, you know. So I think what he did was pretty contemporary. So yeah, no, I definitely respect it. It just, for some reason, I didn't listen to it too much, but I did see that one video where he's like playing all the members. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, well, actually, I believe he did everything on the record.
Tracked.
He tracked everything.
Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense.
That's crazy.
But yeah, just for me, it was just like you know, okay, you know, the gritty rock stuff is back, you know.
And the fact that he wrote every part of every song on the entire album. Like, that's like Michael Jackson level shit right there.
It really is.
True.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my God. Yeah, no, I don't understand how music, like, I get it, but it's also insane to me to fathom that somebody's like fully tracking an entire album, which I will be getting into that in my number one pick, which I'm going to obnoxiously rant about. But yeah, it's crazy to me when I hear like of a musician that's like known for maybe specifically one thing, and then they track like an entire album. I'm like, whoa, okay, you're like a whole new level of talent. Like, where did that come from?
For real.
Right. Yeah.
True.
I'm interested to see what 2022 brings us as far as music, because kind of 2020, 2021 is when the core of it was all happening. So there's still some of this COVID writing going on, so you don't know what's coming out. You know, it could get aggressive, it could get gnarly. You don't know. It'll be fun.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's what's so funny about it, is that, I mean, my first record's pretty aggressive, but there's like parts of me that kind of wants to go back to that fun, like party rock stuff, because I'm very much influenced by 80s stuff, you know. But everything I've written the last year is like kind of like dark and futuristic and like socio-political, without being divisive, but just kind of talking about how we're like glued to the TV and like everyone's obsessed with politics and censorship and all this type of stuff. And I never thought that I would write about that stuff, but I think it's some of the smarter lyrics that I've written. So, I mean, I'm proud of what I've done, but I hope by the time I get to my third record, if you want to call it a record, that I can kind of get back to some fun stuff, you know, because I don't want to stay depressed forever, but, you know, now is definitely the time for that type of stuff.
We need it. We need some drinking anthems.
Yeah.
Some new like mid 2000s drinking anthems. I mean, hey, Buck Cherry gave you guys one with Gun. I'm just saying, if you guys haven't checked that song out.
It seems like that emo thing is kind of coming back a little bit. I mean, like, no one's bigger than Machine Gun Kelly right now. I mean, that's like.
Oh, do we have to bring him up?
Yeah, he got a new album out this weekend, and I'm hyped.
Listen, say what you will, the man knows how to put on a show, I guess. Drawing some crowds.
MGK's my boy.
We could be talking about.
That's true. That is true.
We need more good Charlotte in our life.
Jesus, no.
Could you imagine if like the pop punk version of MGK right now did a song with Good Charlotte? Like, that was the most emo shit on the fucking planet.
Now it kind of needs that.
And it would sell.
We all need that in our lives, for real, for real. I will say I will be doing a full review on Born with Horns whenever the fuck he decides to drop that record.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
So Kore, do you want to lead us off with a number 3 pick?
I'm still on my number 4, player.
What do you mean you're still on number 4? I thought you already said your number 4.
No, I did my number 5. Why
That
don't I
has to
do
be your
number
number
5?
4. I lost count. I'm sorry. I started talking about MGK and I got distracted. Okay.
All right. So my number 4
That's
is
slow and low, legit though.
my number 4 is Rob Zombie with the Lunar Injection Kool-Aid Eclipse Conspiracy.
It's the Kool-Aid Man record.
It's the Kool-Aid record. That's the best way to put it. What's that?
I did see this one on the list of albums for 2021. Yeah. The title terrified me.
I feel like that's been his running gag for the last couple of records to just have these like random like auto spell check, like record titles.
Yeah.
Like that's probably what he's doing, right? It's probably just like write one word. Oh yeah, that'll do.
Predicted text.
Yeah. I think that's where he's getting it from. But great record. Produced and mixed by Zeus. Obviously, you got the amazing John 5 on guitar. It's a good record. I think. I mean, here's the thing about Zombie. I don't think at this point Zombie is trying to change the world or even really say anything remotely legible. I think he's just trying to write, his brand of spooky music. I mean, he's got lyrics like "I don't need your OJ juice." I mean, there's
groundbreaking.
I mean, I don't know. Is it maybe, I don't need your OJ juice because, it's mass produced by the man and like, I don't know. Like if we have to overanalyze a line like that, I don't know. But it's a good record as far as like, especially for these times, it's like, not that I feel like we need to be dumbed down per se, but it's like a good record just to have fun with and not take it too seriously. And I think, you talk about like party records, and in its own weird way, it kind of is a party record. It's got a song called "Shake Your Ass, Smoke Your Grass."
It's my favorite song off that record.
Yeah, I mean, John is just on his bullshit. It's just funny. The Triumph of King Freak, that's a banger. There's just a lot of cool stuff on this record. The production is great, and like I said, there's a lot of ear candy from John. Where the songs might in one way seem really, really simple and kind of boneheaded, you can always rely on John to put some sort of smarts, at least into the guitar work. So, it's my number 4. Like I said, us musicians, we're mostly focusing on how do we make new music and get the hell out of this pandemic. So, this is my top 5, but, it's only so enthusiast top 5. But I've always liked Rob Zombie. I always enjoy his records. So for it being as boneheaded as it is, this one does have a little bit more substance than the last record. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was a fun record. Number 4.
I will add some comments to that because that is further up on my list. So I will save my comments for the Kool-Aid album when we get there.
I mean, this looks like Kool-Aid. I mean, look at that. It's pretty gnarly. Yeah.
That red vinyl life though.
Hey man, I'm like a kid, man. I'm like a little kid with colors. Like, give me a colored vinyl, and I'm like all about it. It's like, ooh, the colors.
If I can look at mentioned, you guys haven't heard Brian Head Welch's side project, Perfectly Preserved? That was pretty cool. The Love and Death stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Love and Death was actually one of the first concerts I ever worked. I was shooting 1,000 Foot Crutch, and they were on tour with them. And I was like 16 or some shit, and I was at this like old venue in Pittsburgh, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is so dope!" But I don't know, I've always really liked Head's solo project with that. It's so rad.
Co-op's first ever show was opening up for Brian Head Welch.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Love and Death. It was his side project when he had just come back to music. And yeah, so we got to kind of witness that firsthand, which was pretty cool. Kind of see that genre change and, just his own unique style of how he's doing things now. And yeah, I mean, I really like to see how they've evolved. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, watching him like you said, watching that evolve, because that show I think was in 2013 that I saw them. So watching that kind of evolve over the years has been really cool. To see his solo project kind of do its own thing, and for that matter, Jonathan Davis, since we're kind of bringing that whole thing, seeing how they're both in Korn, but the difference in their solo project just is mind blowing to me.
To see them both come back to Korn too, and kind of bring their own, all the stuff that they've been doing separately together actually makes a cooler Korn sound too, which is kind of cool, I think.
It's definitely really cool to see how musicians can leave a band and then come back together, go do their own solo projects and go do their own thing, and then come back and it's like, oh, whoa, okay, so you guys took from all these different projects and kind of just put them in a blender, and now you're getting a new.
Oh. It's kind of the same thing with like the Hollywood Vampires. It's kind of fun to see my dad do his own thing and then work with Joe Perry and then have them go back and do Aerosmith and the Alice thing. It's very back and forth, but it's a very different thing when they're doing that thing.
Yeah, like see like the two genres, not necessarily genres, but like subgenres of rock kind of thrown in a blender a little bit and then pop out, and then they go back and do their own shit. It's really cool to see artists that can kind of do that and be that versatile, I guess.
Yeah, it's got to be a relief for some guys like that too. I mean, guys like my dad and Aerosmith. They're really doing the staples every night. They're doing the same thing every night, and people love it, and that's great. And they get to play their new stuff and everything. But to come and write something completely new that everyone's really jazzed about, I think that's a really cool thing that they get to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it takes the pressure, like you said. I feel like it takes the pressure up to a point. It's more of a fun solo. Like not solo, but fun little project to do that's not like, oh my God, I have to make sure that this is like the top of the line shit. Like they can kind of just go off and do their own thing.
Right. Have fun with it. No matter what happens, I mean, you look at the lineup and, it's like people are going to listen to it. Doesn't matter what it is, but it just so happens that everybody in that whole band, is super talented. Even, Johnny Depp on guitar, the guy can rip.
Yeah, people underestimate him, I think.
He can play, man. People forget that he went to LA to be a guitar player, not an actor.
Right.
For sure. So I guess I'm going to go with my number 3 pick, unless Kore, you wanted to go first.
Oh, you want to play catch up? We could do that.
Pass.
All right. So my number 3, I don't have the vinyl, but my number 3 is a band from, I believe, Sweden. They're called Crazy Licks, and they just came out a record called Street Lethal, rather. The album cover looks like a Street Fighter video game. It's kind of funny, but again, I was very amused. I've heard some of their songs before, but for some reason, this record just came on my radar. And it's got a song called "Anthem for America." And it's just super catchy, and the lyrics are kind of funny. It kind of talks about how, America was all original and they were all about rock. And then after 1993, something changed and kind of became boring. And, you got to bring rock back. It's cheesy, and it's definitely kind of a throwback 80s hair metal type style. But these guys do it really well. And it's just a fun listen all around. So, it's kind of a nice escape from, like we're all doing. We're all writing this kind of angry, pissed off, COVID music. This kind of takes you back to 1987 to like Def Leppard and Motley Crue. So these guys do it really well, and there's a lot of good stuff like that coming out of Scandinavia these days. So yeah, I really enjoyed this record. It was just a lot of fun to just kind of listen to it, and again, not take it too seriously, but the songs are very catchy. It's it's kind of amazing when a band can do something like 80s hair metal now, but like the songs are generally just as good as something that a band did back in the day. If you can do that, that's pretty damn talented.
Right. No, that's really cool. Yeah, no, I didn't even know that record existed until you told me you were putting that on your list. And I was like, oh, whoa, okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, well, they're kind of from that same camp of like Crash Diet, Hardcore Superstar. Who else? And those are the two top ones that I would normally listen to. And Crazy Licks was always kind of like that second tier of those like Scandinavian bands, so I didn't really like listen to them that much. But for some reason, this record came on my radar. I mean, it's on Frontiers Records. You know, Frontiers puts out a lot of that good European stuff. Well, they also put out the new Blue Oyster Cult record. Maybe that's how I found out about it. But yeah, Crazy Licks, good stuff, man. Those Scandinavian guys know how to do 80s hair metal. Like, go figure. You know, it's like they're either doing like, you know, black metal and burning down churches, or they're wearing spandex doing Motley Crue. It's kind of like one or the other. It's kind of funny.
You can tell it's getting colder. Jeremy keeps putting on layers of clothes.
I was gonna say that because he keeps leaving and then he comes back with another coat, and I'm just like, okay.
Sun goes down.
That's so funny. Oh my god. Well, I guess I'm gonna try to wrap this up before Jeremy totally freezes to death. We lose him.
But Jeremy's playable.
It's 55.
You have no idea.
Oh, we had a glitch in the Matrix.
Oh, I said if it drops another 5 degrees, we're gonna lose him.
Oh yeah,
Double that.
Jeremy's gonna shatter.
we're good till about 50.
I think I just go into hibernation at that time.
Oh my god. Okay, so I guess my number 3 that I wanted to mention, I'm going to get made fun of for this. I'm fully prepared for it. But when this album came out, I binge listened to it. It actually was like my moving album earlier in the year when I was moving from Ohio up to Pennsylvania. And I don't know why this album just stuck with me. Demi Lovato's Dancing with the Devil. It has this cool like, it's a pop record, but it has this cool kind of like reggae almost like vibes to it too. It's super well produced. I didn't really see anything crazy when I was looking at the liner notes about any like special producers or anything like that. But it's just such a solid listen. Like, I couldn't stop listening to it. Like, that was all I listened to. And through all the stuff that she's been through, a lot of people know she had that overdose back in 2018 and hadn't released any music and just went on hiding for a while. And then to come back with this record, I was like, whoa, okay, Demi's back. So yeah, no, it's so good. Art of Starting Over, Melon Cake was a great song. What Other People Say, the producing on that record is insane, and I love how they mix that song together. So yeah, number 3, Demi Lovato's Dancing with the Devil was my binge listen number 3 for 2021.
Cool story, bro.
Why are you like this?
I don't know, man. I was like, I picked the wrong day to quit smoking. You're talking about Demi Lovato. I'm like, all right, smoke if you got him.
I started talking about Demi Lovato and MGK in the same stream, and he's like, I need to start chain smoking.
Yeah, I just well, it's a New Year's resolution, I was like, yeah, we're in a pandemic, plagued by an upper respiratory disease. Let me pick up smoking again. It's just a great idea. Yeah. Is it my turn to go to the number 2?
3. I thought it was 3. I thought you were at 3.
Nah, man. I'm at 2 now.
Zombie to, what was the one right after that?
Crazy
Licks. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to talk about Zombie now, and then we can go to number 2.
All right, that's fair.
Okay, so what I had to say about the Rob Zombie album is it was his first record since 2016. A lot of you guys know I definitely have a big John 5 connection. I love him to death. I jokingly call him my music industry dad. So I obviously am very partial to the fact that I think the guitar riffs on this record are absolutely fucking insane and so good. I remember he said at some point that this album was going to be like White Zombie heavy. I don't think all of the tracks necessarily fit that heavy kind of vibe, but like Crow Killer Blues is insane. It is super fucking heavy. I remember 18th Century. What the hell was the name of it? I thought I wrote it down. It was like this almost borderline country song that he did with with Rob, and I was just like, okay, there's a banjo in a Rob Zombie song. Okay, go off. I hear you guys. This is great.
It's 18th century cannibals, excitable Morlocks, and a one-way ticket on the ghost train.
How the fuck was I supposed to remember that? That's all I'm saying.
I know. Well, that's why I got the record players.
The Rob Zombie album.
It was 18th century. That's all I fucking knew. But it had this cool, like, banjo-ish shit, and if anyone's familiar with his work with the Creatures, he does a lot of that stuff in those albums. So it was really cool, and the song that Kore was talking about, Shake Your Ass, like, that was actually in my top, like, 10 most listened to songs on Spotify this year. I don't know why, that song definitely is stupid. Like, you can't take it that seriously, but it definitely has that cool little sway to it that I feel like a zombie album should have, and I was definitely ready for that record. King Freak was a great lead-off single, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that album, so that's my number 2 is the Kool-Aid album by Rob Zombie.
The Kool-Aid album.
The Kool-Aid album.
We drank the Kool-Aid.
Apparently.
All right, player. I'm going to go to my number 2 now, which I was trying really hard for us not to copy each other, but okay.
Oh, no. Well, I know you're not going to pick my number 1, so.
No. So my number 2 is Buck Cherry, Hellbound.
Nice.
And I'll take credit where credit is due. I am an old school Buck Cherry fan. Back in the day, my first time seeing Buck Cherry, my dad took me to Irving Plaza to see them on the Time Bomb tour, and riding was like my jam coming out of high school. I had the pleasure of opening up for Buck Cherry at a biker festival in New Hampshire a couple of years ago, and they've had a lot of different lineups over the years, and some records are better than others, but I really think this record is a return to form. It's got a lot of good vibes on it, and again, they try some different stuff. Like Emmy mentioned, track 4, Gun. It's got a cool vibe to it. I think there's almost a little bit of, like, even though it's groovy, it's got a little bit of that Aerosmith vibe. There's a little bit of some horns, like, tucked underneath the mix. There's some horns in there. Wasting No More Time is a great ballad. And obviously the lead single, So Hot and Hellbound, just classic, typical, AC/DC, Buck Cherry stuff. Great record. This new lineup, I think, is really, with Stevie and Josh, the other guys who have come into the band, I think they've really revitalized the band after the couple lineup changes on the last few records. Hey, you can't go wrong with a smoky kind of vinyl. Kind of reminds me of the remastered Zipper Catch's Skin record that Alice put out recently. Kind of looks like the newspaper. Kind of got that same kind of vibe to it. And again, the colors, man, the colors. You can't go wrong with that colored vinyl,
It's the colors, man.
Yeah. So, Buck Cherry Hellbound, number 2, man. Hell yeah.
I think we opened up for Buck Cherry about 2 years ago. That was a really fun show.
Yeah.
Tempe. Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're going out with Alice.
Yeah.
They're coming up with
They are.
Yeah.
In March, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's them and then somebody else. I'm trying to remember the other band.
I think Ace is on like 2 shows or something like that.
Yeah, I'm really stoked. They're actually coming to Wilkes-Barre for that, so that's gonna be a fun night. I'm super excited to see Buck Cherry again, and obviously Alice. It's gonna be such a good night.
Yeah, and let's hope that COVID isn't so bad, so we can actually hang out, everybody, for a change.
Hope.
Yeah, it was. I was when we were on the tour when we met you guys. Some places were fine and some places were really weird. It just felt weird. And then how do you get into a show when it really just feels weird or wrong?
Yeah, I think obviously you have your big legacy acts and whatnot who may not hang with the fans and whatnot, but for guys like us, it's very important for us to hang with the fans and build that connection. And it's kind of weird, if you can't, like, hi, it's like, I gotta go. It's like,
And it's like every city has different rules and requirements, and so you can't build any sort of consistent strategy every night. It's like, well, how the hell am I going to do my job here?
Yeah.
Right.
And then I find it funny that Columbus was the most restrictive.
Yeah.
But we had the biggest
Yeah.
show. Somehow.
And a lot of slow and low.
Yeah, we did. You know?
Oh my God, man. You know, I hadn't eaten, bro, and you know me, I told you, like, I'm a rye guy, you know, so I was very happy to try that slow and low, but once I got out of the bus, man, I was pretty slow and low walking over to Donato's, man. I was messed up.
But the bus never moved that night.
No, it didn't, huh?
No, our batteries went out, so we couldn't go.
We spent the night outside.
Oh yeah, and then
like almost 8, 9 in the morning. Yeah,
and then you guys got rained out, right?
No, we never made it to the show, but it rained out.
Okay.
But the funny part about it is our time slot was before the rain.
Right.
But so I don't know. It all kind of worked out in the end. We really wanted to play that show.
Yeah.
Or the batteries were just completely like there was no cranking amps or nothing. We were just, oh man.
That sucks. Oh my God, that was such a good night though.
Yeah, and the sorority right in front of the bus was just jamming till 4 a.m.
I know. It was.
Like,
It
we're
was.
gonna get a deep cell battery at 4 in the morning. Like, I think it was 1:30 when everybody pulled out.
Should have plugged into their house.
It was funny. It was funny because the lonely ones drove by us and they waved. They were like, "Hey, we'll see you later." we went to turn the bus on and like, nope. Click, 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 click. I'm like, damn it. So,
I was like, God damn it, this is my life now.
At least we had the slow one though. That was fun.
Yeah, man.
Yo, that Donato's pizza was dope though.
You know,
The best.
I'll tell you something. It's funny because like some people give me a lot of shit because like you know I'm OG New York. You know what I mean? And like people would say, oh, New Yorkers know what real pizza is, and like we got the classic Neapolitan, we got the classic Sicilian. But I don't know, man. I get my rocks off to that thin crust pizza, man. We did a show in Mansfield, Ohio once at the electric company, and the owner there, he hooked me up with some Donatos, and I was like, yo, this is like thin crust like Domino's, but like more homemade ish. I don't know. I thought it was great.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the best way to describe it.
We have it here in Phoenix. It's connected to the Red Robin.
Not
Really?
quite authentic, but pretty good.
Good enough, close enough. I'll take it.
Oh no, not that Red Robin, man. We went to Red Robin once, man, and
the itis.
No, because you know what happened? Like I went in there and like the waiter, he was like in like a local band or whatever. So we were talking about music. I guess he was trying to like warm up to us, and he just kept like feeding me those fucking steak fries.
With the seasoning on them?
Yeah, dude, like I was hurting, man. Like my stomach was like a brick after. And we went into the Walmart after, and like one of her like coworkers like saw us and was like, "Oh man, that dude Kore looks like an angry guy." I was not happy, man. So I don't think I'll be going back to Red Robin anytime soon, man.
Good times, right?
Yeah.
Good times with the chain restaurants, right?
Yeah. Oh God. Some you look forward to, others you're like, eh.
I know.
You're like, I'm expecting a stomach ache after this one.
Right. And what's even more disappointing is if you hit up a spot and then you go back like a year later on another tour and it's not the same. You're like, what happened?
Yeah, well, that's like the never-ending story with Denny's. You never know if it's going to be a good Denny's or not.
It's like, we found the best
We
Denny's.
spent 3 nights there.
I have no idea where it was, but it was the best one.
Yeah, we found the best Denny's because usually there's criteria for Denny's. There's the coffee
somewhere, maybe. New
The
Mexico?
coffee's always watered down. But
Yeah.
this one has really good coffee, and they don't completely like your hash browns are like peanut brittle. Like, they come as one big chip. You drop it and it just smashes everywhere. But yeah, no, it was. I can't where we were.
In
But we
between
spent 3
Colorado-
nights because we had to go back and forth to these places. So we're like, well, let's go back to the good Denny's.
Man, you know it's a good road day when you end up having Denny's for breakfast and dinner. Like you have the breakfast on the way.
Like 2 in the morning.
Yeah, because you have it like on the way to the venue, and then like when you get out, like it's the only thing that's open if you can't find a Waffle House. So you're just like, I guess we'll go back. Like that's the funny thing about places like Denny's or Waffle House or Cracker Barrel. When you do like a long tour, by the end of the tour, you've had like everything on the menu. It's like there's nothing else to order.
We used to call it. They used to have the 2468 menu.
Yeah.
And we used to have there was a $6. Yeah, we called it the $6 holler. It was on the 246 menu, and our roadie Ciro, he would me and him would go in, pulling in after a show into like the Flying J or whatever, and we go, dude, they got the $6 holler, and it was basically a breakfast toast sandwich and some hash browns.
Right.
I was like, $6. I'm like, that's the best thing. Let's go.
Yo, the best hack is you get like the $2 all you can eat pancakes. And you just get it for the table, and the one guy just like sneaks like the pancakes to the other guy.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, same thing with the showers, man. If it's late night, some of the people behind the counter are really cool. So I mean, because showers at a Flying J, they're very nice, by the way, but they're $14 a shower.
Wow.
So, but if you're like late night, like 2, 3 in the morning, sometimes they'll let you just leave the lock open, and the next dude can just go in.
Wow, that's a good hack.
Get in there together.
Yeah, sure. Hey, can you reach that for me?
Most of the time, it's Planet Fitness.
Perkins, though. Perkins pie.
We need to stop talking about
Man,
food.
we need to have a whole touring session.
Yeah, man.
And the do's and don'ts and the stories and more slow and low.
Just a
no.
full on like just where the best road food's at.
Who's on
I'd be
second?
I'd be a slow and low alcoholic by the end of the fucking tour.
That's just lit, man. That was like the highlight of this year. Was like a fucking slow and low. That shit was that was lit.
Oh, it's just like for us here, we can't get Yingling.
Oh, you can, huh?
No, so when we're back east, we try to stock up, but we end up drinking it before we cross that threshold of not getting it anymore. You know,
Here
like,
you
wait,
go.
we're in Illinois. Shit, what are you making? Turn around.
Turn around.
In Pennsylvania, bro, the stuff runs like water, man. It's just like
That shit is Pennsylvania water.
like, dude, like I don't even drink. I don't even drink Yingling like that, and I just have it in the house like this. You know what I'm saying?
See?
It's just there.
Put that on eBay right now.
You know what it is? It's like you move to PA, and they're just like, "Welcome to PA. Here's some 6-pack of Yingling."
He's not wrong though. That's what happens. It's like, oh, welcome back to. That's what happened to me. I was like, welcome back to Pennsylvania. Here's a case of Yingling.
You need to smuggle like a pallet of it out here for us, and
well, next time I see you guys, I'll bring you some. That's easy. I can do that.
You bring the slow.
We'll bring the slow and low.
They won't make it back to Arizona, but yeah.
So Emmy, I know your number one's going to be a huge rant. So should I go to my number one?
Yeah, probably. Because
Okay.
I'm gonna go on a lecture, and you all are gonna learn a lot of shit that you don't want to know about this artist.
Oh boy. Okay, so my number one is going to be Damon Johnson and the Get Ready.
Hey.
Battle Lessons, and mine was signed by Damon himself, so very, very cool. I mean, Damon Johnson is just, he's a journeyman, and being a 90s kid, man, Brother Kane was one of my favorite bands growing up. They used to play them on K-Rock all the time. And being a horror movie fan, Fools Shine On was on the Halloween 6 soundtrack, which, a lot of people don't like Curse of Michael Myers, but I just love that movie because it was like the first Halloween I saw in the movies, and it's got that whole 90s vibe to it. There's little Brother Kane tracks like hidden in the background and stuff. But obviously Brother Kane came to an end in the late 90s because, times were changing and record label wasn't supporting them anymore. And Damon went on to do a lot of projects. Obviously, as we know, he played with Alice for a couple of years. He's been doing stuff with Leonard Skinner recently. He was doing stuff with Thin Lizzy. But he did a straight just Damon Johnson record a while back, which was pretty good. But I finally picked this up, and this is a phenomenal record. It's produced by Nick. I always butcher his last name, but we all know who Nick is. He used to work at Sound City back in the day. He's produced a lot of big records, and this record's great. Battle Lessons is a cool opener song. It's got a kind of bit of a Maiden-ish record riff to it. Can't Clap Any Ladders. The thing about Damon is he's a Southern guy, so he's got this. He's got a little bit of like a jive talk to some of the stuff that he does. It's kind of jivey, which he does in Can't Clap Any Louder. Shadow Country's phenomenal. The whole record is great. I mean, obviously it's Damon and his new band, the Get Ready, but I mean it might as well, for me, in my heart, it might as well still be a Brother Kane record, so it's like it's the closest thing you'll get to Brother Kane in 2021. But he's a sweetheart of a guy. You can't help but want to love and support what he does. He was very kind to me when I met him that one time, and just an all-around good songwriter, good storyteller. So one of the few out of the five that I was really, really passionate about. When the first two singles came out, I was like, yeah, I like it, cool. But once I finally got the record and dived into it, there's not one bad song on this record from start to finish. It's a really good journey. And like I said, I mean, it's the closest thing to a Brother Kane record in 2021. And I'm just really glad that I got to get it, and that Damon was cool enough to send it for me. So definitely a cherished piece of my vinyl collection. So my number one, Damon Johnson and the Get Ready. Check it out. It's really cool.
Hey.
Cool. So I hope you guys are ready for some knowledge I'm about to drop. So my number one, if anybody is even vaguely familiar with me, they know I'm a giant Alice in Chains fan, and my number one album of this year was the long-awaited Jerry Cantrell solo album, Brighton. First solo album since 2002. Nobody ever even thought he was going to do a solo album again. I remember when I met him a couple years ago, he even was like, oh, nobody cares if I do a solo album. I'm glad he changed his mind on that and ended up releasing this album. It is insanely fucking good. I had Paul Fig on earlier in this year, who worked with Jerry in recording this record. And that was such an honor to have him on and kind of talk about it before the album was even out. Jerry co-produced this record actually with Tyler Bates, who worked with Marilyn Manson and Bush and other people like that. The production on this record is absolutely fucking insane. Like, it is so well put together. It's top level shit. I don't know where I would rank it in his solo albums necessarily. I think I have to kind of let it simmer a little bit before I could accurately put that somewhere. But I know a lot of fans were kind of annoyed that this album wasn't as heavy or grungy as the two previous albums. But I look at Brighton as it was supposed to kind of be the light at the end of it. So it wasn't supposed to be as like dungy or grungy or as doomsday-ish, if that makes sense. It wasn't supposed to be that. It definitely has a little bit more of a folksy kind of vibe. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't as doomsy as that album.
Oh, real quick. I know you're on a rant, but
that's okay.
Hold on. Oh wait,
that
hold
album
on.
is fucking lit. That was also my Christmas present. I just want to throw that out there too. Yo, where'd you go?
I'll be right back. Hold on, I gotta show these guys real quick.
Okay, I'm gonna continue ranting while he's gone. But this album was 9 tracks, and the last track on it was an Elton John cover.
It's green, player.
Hey, colored.
All right.
The
All right.
colors.
The
No,
colors,
the last
man.
song was an Elton John cover. And that's actually not the first time that he's worked with Elton John. Elton was actually on a song on Black Gives Way to Blue, the title track, which was a tribute to Lane Staley, which everybody should know that, if you don't live under a rock. But yeah, this album was just so fucking good. Nobody Breaks You is my favorite off of the fucking record. I remember I was making like breakfast the one day and I was like, oh my god, this song just like attacked my feels. It's such a good listen, and I think the fans of him that are kind of criticizing it need to shut the fuck up because this album is so fucking good, and I think it's gonna grow on people the longer they listen to it if they don't like it already. So, number one, Brighton. Thank you, Jerry, for another masterpiece.
Well done.
Right on. Nice.
I feel like between the two of you, I think I just went through a whole course.
2021 rock.
And I feel like as a rookie at this, I want a shot at this again next year.
Definitely. I want to bring you guys back next year if you guys want to come back.
Well, I'm bringing whiteboards. I'm bringing
figures,
high graphs. It's coming.
You guys are gonna bring a PowerPoint presentation.
PowerPoint and more slow and low.
Yeah, bro.
Slow and low and PowerPoint presentations. That's what we have to look forward to in 2022.
In the metaverse.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like I said, I mean, it's hard to pick a top five when you really look back at how much music comes out every day. But for me, not just because it's easy with the presentation, but it's just like, if I do happen to buy something new on vinyl, there's a good chance that I'm really sitting with it, so that's also why a lot of these records did make the top five, because I did physically have them, and sat with them. It's one thing to go on Spotify and maybe you're in the gym or something and you're skimming through tracks, but like when you really, which is why, like I said, I'm old school. I love, like my first record, it's a concept record. And I'm still so grateful that at least it was limited edition and it was pressed on vinyl through Cleopatra Records, that that you can sit with something and really absorb it that way. I think there's a music can be used for so many different things, but I think it's really cool when you do kick it old school and you can put something on the stereo and sit there and just take it all in. So even though like we're all adapting to the singles game, I hope at some point we can still get back to the record, maybe put out 4 singles and then at some point then just put out the whole thing, so hopefully the next one will be a colored vinyl, though. That's what I'm hoping for.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
What about 45s?
I was thinking about that too. That might be the new ticket, man. Maybe just doing 2 or 3 songs on a vinyl. I mean, it's possible.
Full circle.
Let's do a live show on Laserdisc.
Live show on Laserdisc. It's like, does anybody even have like a Laserdisc player? Like,
who cares? It's a collectible.
There is a band that I recently saw in Scottsdale, Hollywood Gods and Monsters, and it's the former bass player for I think Steel Lexi. Is it?
Yeah, Lexi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Travis's new band.
Interesting, very interesting. It's a smash up band, but they smash up hip hop and classic rock and stuff. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's definitely a cool project he has going on over there. I'm definitely
that was
it's
a
lot of it's funny. It's a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me, and I'm not saying this to knock them by any means, but it reminds me of like the Vegas style. Like if you ever saw like those cover bands that would play like a carnival court, like in Harrah's or something like that. Like it's got that kind of like cover band like flair kind of thing to it.
I thought the music twist on it was kind of cool how they matched it up, and then I think there's six of them in that band.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people in that band.
But it was different, and I always approach that like open-minded, and I thought that was really, really cool. So they made something to look at maybe next year.
Well, I'm actually planning on seeing them in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, yep.
I think I cut out the middle of that, but I'm planning on coming out to see them. I think they're playing the Bourbon Room or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I got an invite to come out and see them. So, pending anything dramatic happening with the current situations of the world, I will be definitely seeing them at the Bourbon Room.
Awesome. Yeah, you'll enjoy it. I saw videos and stuff from the show they did here in Scottsdale, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, they seem to be putting on like a pretty good show, and like I said, I'm proud of Travis for keeping going with what he clearly wanted to do. So it's cool. I'm excited to witness it live.
Okay. What do you guys got planned for New Year's?
We're gonna have a couple peoples over the house.
Couple feuds.
And hopefully have a nice game of Monopoly or something. I don't know.
Yeah, all right.
He got some Ghostbusters Monopoly.
Yeah, nice. Ghostbusters Monopoly.
My God, I'll never get sick of that movie ever.
Same. What you guys got going on?
I haven't seen the new one yet, though.
It was fun.
I think
I liked it.
Justin, you're working, right?
Yeah. Well, no, but I'm gonna go.
Yeah, we have like our New Year's Eve party at our club.
That's cool. That sounds like fun.
Probably end up doing that, but I like to be in bed by 10 now, so.
That's a mood, though. It's like 10 o'clock, and I'm like passed out asleep.
You guys saw the progression of the daylight behind us. Look at it now.
He's gone.
Like, it's completely dark now. We're like, bedtime now. We got practice now.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. So.
Oh my God. Well, I'm very excited for the new year and all the new stuff on the horizon. So thank you guys for coming on and I guess sending out the new year with the podcast the right way. And I'm very excited. Hopefully we can have all you guys back next year and see where next year has brought us.
I'm sure we'll pop in every now and then.
And we look forward to it. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Get some new music together.
I'm definitely looking forward to some new co-op music. It's going to be rad.
Awesome.
Oh my God. Well, thank you guys again for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Later, Core.
All right.
See you later, guys.
Oh my God, that was such a good episode. Thank you all for tuning in and celebrating the end of the new year with me. I'm very excited for 2022. I have some new stuff premiering on MC Media. So please stay tuned with that. And another big shout out to my team over at MC Media, especially Eve Toth, for putting up with me and my nonsense and keeping MC Media afloat with me this year. I have a bunch of new stuff premiering, so please stay tuned with that. And don't forget to hit the like button if you're on Facebook or hit the subscribe button if you're over on the YouTube channel. And stay tuned for 2022 Chats with the Freak.